Welcome to this episode of From Grassroots to Greatness, the journey to the top. Bruce Oliver is your host as he interviews movers and shakers inside the world of soccer success. The program will begin shortly.
Welcome back to From Grassroots to Greatness, the show where we trace the journey from the local pitch to the professional stadium. I'm your host, Bruce Oliver, and today we're going to be joined by a man who truly embodies both halves of our side, of our title, Grassroots to Greatness. From youth academies of FC Barcelona to becoming a dominant force in the USL. And now the visionary founder of Inspire Soccer League. Nil Vinyalis is here to talk about the grind of the pro game and how he's using soccer to change lives. Nil, welcome to the show. How are
Thank
you
you so
doing
much.
today?
Good, good. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have a conversation with you.
Likewise, I'm happy to have you, and I know that it's going to be helpful to players and people that are listening. Well, there are a couple of questions, and we went over them that we want to talk to you about. And one covers the academy blueprint. You grew up in the FC Barcelona system, arguably one of the best in the world. For a young player in the US trying to get noticed, what is the European habit or mindset they should adopt today to stand out to the scouts?
Yeah, I think football, soccer in Europe, of course, especially in Barcelona. I think all around the world you can see the blueprint that Spanish soccer, Spanish coaches are leaving behind them. I think there's no question in anyone's mind that the Spanish philosophy of how to play with the ball, dominate the games with the ball has changed the landscape. Guardiola, Luis Enrique, etc. are at the heart of that change. But for me, the big mindset change that most American players should do is that soccer is not an individual sport. It's a collective sport, and there's 22 players, so
Oh,
21 other players besides you that are also on the field. So when you only train individually and you focus on limited structures of your game, like only technical, only physical, you really miss the big picture and you really miss what to me soccer is about, which is playing. So I would encourage all players to play more, especially at young ages. Stop doing individual sessions, stop doing group sessions, and just play. Go out and play with your friends. Go out and play when as much as you can, and with as many players as you can. And that's where really you can cultivate all those skills that will show up later in your career.
excellent. Excellent. Next question is the college to pro bridge transition from college soccer to USL. Is a steep climb. What is the biggest physical or mental adjustment you had to make to ensure you didn't just make the roster, but you became an all-league selection?
Yeah, I think, of course, going from college, which there's plenty of players that want to make it pro. Now there's more and more opportunities here in the USL as the leagues are growing, the teams are growing. When I was out of college, there were very limited options, as USL League One was just starting. But I believe the biggest piece of advice would be to build some strong routines around your schedule and your game. So I feel, of course, we all know that the college season is very short. It's only 3 4 months, very intense. So to be able to sustain and be consistent throughout a USL or an MLS season, you really need to build in those routines from sleeping, nutrition, staying on top of the things that you need to improve to be at the next level, and be able to be consistent throughout the whole year, which I think is the toughest part when you make that transition into the pro level.
Absolutely. I believe in nutrition and staying healthy. If you're not healthy and you're not able to persist throughout a match, then you're in problem. You got a problem. Very good. Well, the intelligence of the game, you're known for your high pass completion and vision. How much of getting drafted is about raw athleticism versus technical intelligence of knowing where the ball needs to be before you even touch it?
So to me, the word athleticism is a word that should be banned from the language in as it relates to soccer and football. I think it pertains to athletics, which are track and field and other disciplines within the sports culture. It doesn't pertain to football. It doesn't pertain to soccer. Of course, the physical, the conditional structure is important. But the main problem that we have here in the US is that most players are judged only because of their physical attributes, which are completely out of context when you put them within 21 other players, and they have to understand the game, they have to execute under pressure, they have to understand the space and where how to occupy that space. So I would say, as I think as my answer is telling you, that to me the most important thing is the understanding of the game, the understanding of space, and to be able to execute in situation. Of course, for you to be able to execute, you have to be able to scan, to be able to understand information, and know what you're gonna do next. So I think that's the biggest differentiator, and I think at the world class level, and I'm gonna use, of course, an FC Barcelona reference with Pedri right now. Pedri is half the size of what I am, and I'm like 5'11", so imagine. He's not strong, he's not fast, he's not tall, he's not all of the things that in American soccer coaches prioritize, and he's by far, in my opinion, the best midfielder right now. So, and there's plenty of other examples like Busquets, etc. Of course, outside of Barcelona too. So yeah, so I would really encourage players to focus on their game intelligence rather than just athleticism, unquote.
I think you're probably right. The people that I've talked to in business industry or in sports, whether it be soccer, football, hockey, they've all told me I go out onto the field or onto the pitch before a match and I visualize where I need to be in the pitch or on the hockey rink and where my other teammates are going to be so that I can be where they pass to. And that kind of takes a lot of the physical attributes out of the mix. Makes that more important, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Well, last thing, and I think it's probably one of the most important things, is character and impact. You've launched a project that inspire to give others a chance to play. In your experience, how much is the player's character and their why off the field influence their performance and longevity as professional athletes?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the most important question to answer. If you don't have a clear why, and it's very, very difficult to perform. And I'll even say, if your whole identity as a human being lies on being a soccer player, when you have an injury or you have a bad set of games or you're not playing or whatever happens, you lose your identity and you lose yourself. So it's, to me, very important. I've always tried to communicate that to young players that are, starting their pro career, to understand that you're a human being that plays soccer, and I think that distinction is very important. And to me, of course, it's always been on trying to make an impact on the communities that I've been playing for. In this case, of course, I co-founded the Inspire Soccer League with Joao Miero, another former Richmond Kickers player. And we've created the first ever nationwide and competitive soccer league for athletes with intellectual impairment in the United States that will lead to the first US national teams. For us, it was about redefining what was possible and really redefining how people were observing and were looking at people with intellectual disabilities. So giving them a real chance to compete, a real chance to travel around the country, a real chance to be represented and to represent their club or their city at the national level. So, of course, we're super excited that we're already in year two with 5 teams from professional, college teams, and independent teams that form the league, which is also historic and is the first time it's been ever done in the United States. And of course, most importantly, and because Spokane Impact has a team, so my team is part of the Inspire Soccer League too, I can see the impact that it has had on so many athletes around the nation. So just going back to the question, I would really encourage to spend the time that you have as a professional soccer player, where you train 2 3 hours a day, and you have the rest of the day to really focus on your future, but also in your present, and to go out to your communities and make as big as an impact as you can. And that can be in different forms, in different communities, in different um, uh, people that are represented in your community. So that's been really important for me to perform on the field, and to for me to not be lost on the identity of being just a soccer player. So
Excellent. What's the best way to reach you? Well, how would you like people to contact you?
yeah, so we have a website, of course, inspiresoccerleague.org. We also have all the social accounts that you can imagine: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's also Inspire Soccer League. And you can find all of our contact information at the website and through the social media accounts. As you always say, the most important thing is, of course, support in any way that you can. We're a non-profit organization and we're just starting, so any support is welcome. But most importantly, spread the word and tell as many people as you can what we're doing, because it's not just a league. Anyone can create a league, and it's not just a professional league, which some people can create a professional league, but it's about redefining what it means to be an athlete for this population, and we're treating them as athletes and not just participants, and that's really our differential factor with any other programs that have been established before.
Pleasure having you on the program.
Well, thank you so much, Bruce, for the opportunity, for the questions, and it was a great conversation. So thank you so much.
Yes. Well, that was Nil Vinyalis. Claire reminds us that greatness isn't just about what you do with the ball at your feet, but what you build for others once you've reached the top. If you're an aspiring athlete, take Nil's advice to heart. The path to pros is paved with both technical discipline and a servant's heart.
You've been listening to From Grassroots to Greatness, the journey to the top. Please like, follow, and share. Until next time, cheers from Bruce Oliver, soccer agent and co-owner of Carrick Rangers Football Club in Northern Ireland.